Every night at exactly 2:13 a.m., her belly grows larger, like something is moving inside. But during the day, she looks completely normal. I set up a camera to see what happens at night. I wish I never did. I found her on a rainy Thursday evening, soaked, whimpering, and barely breathing under an old Okada parked outside my gate. A tiny, black kitten with yellow eyes too big for her face. I didn't plan on keeping her. I already had enough going on, job stress, a breakup, and this gnawing loneliness that seemed to follow me like a second shadow. But when I picked her up, she looked straight at me like she had known me forever. I named her Luna. At first, she was quiet and shy, ate sparingly, slept a lot. But within days, she warmed up to me, following me around, curling into my lap, and meowing softly whenever I left the room. She was my peace in a chaotic world. Then the nightmares started. At exactly 2:13 a.m. every night, I'd wake up sweating, unsure why. Always the same feeling, like someone had been watching me. I'd turn and see Luna sitting at the foot of my bed, eyes glowing faintly in the dark, her body stiff, her tail twitching unnaturally. But it wasn't until I caught her once, her belly distended, tight like it was going to burst, that I began to worry. By morning, she'd be back to normal, playful, small, innocent. I told myself I was imagining things. That stress was playing tricks on my eyes. But my gut said otherwise. One night, I set up my phone on a shelf across from the bed, hit record, left the light dimmed. I needed to know what was happening while I slept. I wish I hadn't. I really wish I hadn't. The next morning, I didn't touch my coffee. I didn't check my phone or scroll through Instagram. I went straight for the footage. My hands were shaking as I tapped on the video file, 6 hours long. I scrolled ahead to 2 a.m., fast-forwarding with dread crawling up my spine. The room on screen was dim, but I could make out my sleeping figure and Luna curled at the foot of the bed. 2:12, she lifted her head. 2:13, she stood. Her tail shot straight up, twitching violently. She arched her back, and then her belly started to expand. It wasn't gradual. It pulsed. 1 second it was flat. The next it bulged outward as if something inside her was shifting. I paused the video and leaned back, heart pounding in my throat. My sweet Luna. She looked like she was transforming. Her face remained calm, but her stomach moved in waves, like something alive was crawling beneath the surface. Then the worst part. At 2:17 a.m., her head turned toward the camera, slowly, deliberately, as if she knew I was watching, even though it was pre-recorded. Her eyes locked onto the lens and didn't blink. Not once. I slammed my laptop shut and backed away from the table. I didn't know what to do next. Call a vet? A priest? Animal control? Who do you call when your cat's belly grows like she's hosting something unholy? I didn't sleep that night. I just watched her and waited for 2:13. That night, I didn't set up a camera. I wanted to, but I was too shaken. So I stayed up in bed, pretending to scroll on my phone while secretly watching Luna. At exactly 2:13 a.m., she stirred. She sat upright, tail flicking. Her belly pulsed again, just like in the footage, but this time I heard it. A low, wet gurgling sound, like fluid moving through thick pipes. She didn't cry, didn't hiss, just sat there, breathing heavier, stomach twitching under her fur. And then something new happened. She leaped off the bed fast. Too fast. Her paws thudded on the tiled floor as she darted toward the corner of the room near the wardrobe. And she started scratching the wall. Violently. Claws out. She scraped and dug into the plaster like she was trying to reach something on the other side. Her movements were erratic, almost like a seizure, but there was intention in them. Purpose. And the sound, that deep, repetitive scratch, 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 it was unbearable. I flipped on the light. Luna, stop. She froze, turned her head slowly toward me, eyes completely black. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I just watched as she sat, tail wrapping around her side. Her stomach began to shrink again. Within minutes, she looked like a normal cat, like nothing had ever happened. But the wall told a different story. Deep claw marks, 5 feet high, torn into the paint. I live alone. I don't own a ladder. And Luna is a kitten barely a foot tall. By morning, I'd convinced myself it had to be a medical issue. Maybe something rare. A parasite. A hormonal imbalance. Anything that science could explain. I took Luna to the vet. Dr. Bayo was an older man, calm, methodical, used to neurotic pet owners like me. He ran all the tests, blood work, x-ray, ultrasound. Nothing's wrong, he said after an hour. She's completely normal. In fact, healthier than most cats her age. I showed him a photo I took of the wall scratch marks. Your cat didn't do that, he said flatly. There's no way she could reach that high. I leaned in. She did it. At night. And there's something moving inside her. Something not right. He gave me that look. The kind professionals give when they're trying not to say, you need help. I can refer you to an animal behaviorist if you think she's acting strange. But physically, she's perfect. I didn't argue. I just took Luna and left. That night, I tried to sleep again. I tucked the camera away, turned on all the lights, and let Luna curl beside me. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't the one watching her anymore. She was watching me. I didn't sleep that night. Not even a minute. Luna didn't move much after 2:13 a.m. She lay on my pillow, pressed close to my head. Her breathing was deep, steady, but I couldn't relax. My body was tense, like I was waiting for something to go wrong. I kept glancing at the clock. 2:14, 2:19, 2:33. Then, around 3:07 a.m., I heard it. A voice, low and slow, whispering in the hallway. Not in English. It sounded ancient, wet, like it was being spoken through a clogged throat. I froze. Luna sat up immediately. Her ears twitched. Her eyes locked on the door like she understood the voice. Like she knew it. I grabbed my phone and quietly stepped toward the hallway. The voice stopped. The air felt heavier there, not cold, just thick, like trying to breathe underwater. I flipped the hallway light on. Nothing. Silence. But Luna didn't stop staring at the door, even long after I closed it. She just stood there, tail down, her body still swollen like she was harboring something alive inside. I didn't fall asleep until sunrise. But the worst part? When I checked the footage on my phone the next day, there was no sound at all in the hallway. Just me standing there, frozen. Alone. I started writing everything down. Time, behavior, sounds, movements. Like a journal. I wanted to be objective. Treat this like a case study. Maybe it would help me stay sane. But on day 10, something new happened, and it terrified me more than anything else so far. I woke up at 4:28 a.m. My head was pounding. My shirt was soaked. I looked around. Luna wasn't in the bed, or in the hallway, or the living room. Panic crawled up my throat. Then I looked at the clock again. It changed from 4:28 to 4:30, no 4:29. That's when I noticed something else. The camera footage for the night was corrupted. From 2:12 a.m. to 3:17 a.m., black screen. The file just skipped that entire hour. I stared at the timeline, rewinding and reloading, thinking maybe it was a glitch. But no, it wasn't there. Like that entire stretch of time had been erased. I found Luna hiding under the kitchen sink, curled tightly, belly flat. She hissed at me when I reached for her. She'd never hissed at me before. Not once. That night, I started locking my bedroom door. From the outside. The next morning, I was too scared to check the footage again. What was the point? It would probably be corrupted again. But when I walked past Luna's litter box, I stopped. She'd been acting strange all morning, circling the box, digging obsessively, then leaving it untouched. I decided to clean it out, but when I started to scoop, I froze. There was something buried deep beneath the clumped litter. A scrap of paper, folded, damp, and torn at the edges. I carefully pulled it out with tissue, disgusted and confused. I unfolded it, and written in shaky, charcoal-like handwriting were 3 words. She's not alone. My skin turned cold. Who put this here? It wasn't there yesterday, and I lived alone. No visitors. No way someone could sneak in. Unless they didn't have to sneak in. Unless they were already inside something. Inside her. Luna sat at the door, staring at me completely still. For the first time, I didn't feel like she was my cat. I felt like she was my host. 3 days passed after I found the note in the litter. I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? But on the fourth day, I got a call from Dr. Bayo, the vet. His voice was shaking. I went over the x-rays again, he said, and there's something inside her. I missed it. I shouldn't have, but there's a shadow near her rib cage. I don't know what it is. It looks like another spine. My heart stopped. Another what? I whispered. He repeated himself. Another spine, like a second skeletal structure, compressed. Not feline. I don't know what it belongs to. I didn't respond. I just hung up and dropped the phone. Luna, who'd been perched on the windowsill, turned her head toward me. Slowly, smoothly, her belly was expanding again. It wasn't 2:13 yet. It was broad daylight. That was the first time the rules started to break. That night, I dreamt of a woman. She was standing in a burning forest, barefoot, dressed in white, her face half buried behind tangled hair. In her hands, she held something moving, squirming. It looked like a small creature wrapped in a wet blanket. She was sobbing, screaming without sound. She turned to me slowly and whispered, "It's not her body anymore." I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. Luna was on my chest, eyes inches from my face. I shoved her off. She landed with a soft thud but didn't meow, didn't flinch. She just stared at me from across the room, belly rising unnaturally. I picked up my journal and wrote down every word. I didn't know what it meant, but something about that dream felt real. Not symbolic, not fantasy, like I'd just seen a memory. But it wasn't mine. It was hers.
The next night, I heard a knock.
The knock came at 2 a.m. Not a loud knock, not even aggressive, just deliberate. 3 soft taps on the front door. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. I sat in bed with my blanket pulled to my chin, phone in hand, waiting. Who the hell knocks at 2 a.m.? The second knock came. This time, Luna leapt off the bed and ran to the door. She didn't growl. She didn't hide. She waited, like she knew someone was coming. I crept out of bed, grabbing my kitchen knife. Not that it would do anything, I just needed something to hold. I peeked through the peephole. No one, just the empty corridor. I opened the door slowly. Nothing, no person, no package, but something had been left on the floor. A dead rat, split clean down the middle. Its insides were completely hollow, scooped out, like someone had drained it. And taped to its tiny, limp tail was another note. "Feed her or she'll feed herself." I slammed the door shut. Luna was purring behind me, but she wasn't looking at the rat. She was looking at me. That same night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room with Luna, the dead rat still lying untouched on the tiles. She curled beside it but didn't eat. She just listened. At first, I didn't notice it. But at exactly 2:13 a.m., I heard it for the first time. A heartbeat. Not mine, not hers. Something beneath the floor. Slow, rhythmic, wet. It pulsed through the tiles like the house itself was breathing. Luna's belly started to move again, rippling like something inside was trying to get out. I backed into the kitchen and grabbed salt, water, anointing oil, anything. I didn't even believe in these things fully, but I was desperate. I poured the salt in a circle around Luna, and she hissed. Not like a cat, not even like an animal. She hissed like something old, like something that had tasted fire and blood and darkness. And then she spoke, not out loud, in my head. She opened the gate. Now it must eat. I smashed all the mirrors in my house, but one remained. The old antique mirror in the hallway, left behind by the former tenant. I had covered it with a blanket months ago, but when I walked past it that night, it was uncovered. And inside it, I saw her, the woman from my dreams, eyes sunken, dress stained, and in her arms, Luna. Not the cat, but something much larger. A distorted, bloated version with too many legs and a mouth where her stomach should be. She opened her mouth and whispered. I was only a carrier. You are the keeper. Behind me, Luna purred louder, but I couldn't turn around. I was frozen, trapped in the reflection, watching as her stomach tore open in the glass. Dozens of small, slick black limbs began to crawl out. One of them touched the inside of the mirror and scratched. Once, twice, a third time. I don't know what day it is anymore. The clocks in my house all stop at 2:13. No matter how many times I change the batteries, plug them in, or check my phone, at 2:13 a.m., everything freezes. Except Luna and me. She's no longer hiding it. Her body swells now even in daylight, and sometimes I see faces pushing against her skin. Human faces. Some screaming, some smiling. Last night, I tried to kill her. I wrapped her in a thick sheet and took a blade to her side. She didn't bleed. She didn't die. She only laughed. A deep, echoing laugh that came from under the floor, inside the walls and through my own mouth. Now I sit here writing this.
Because just yesterday I drove her far away and left her. But tonight, he came back. Exactly the same way I first met her, sitting quietly at my doorstep like nothing happened. Everyone I tell says I need help, as I've had past trauma. I won't deny that. But I swear I'm not making this up. What exactly am I supposed to do? Because honestly, I'm losing my mind.